Hello, everybody. It is Tuesday night, and it is time for Talks and Tea with me, Tonya Nicole. So it's good to see everybody out here tonight. I am Tonya Nicole, and I have my tea ready. So as you all are joining in, make sure you grab your warm cup of tea. Tonight I am drinking cinnamon apple tea, and my mug says you are special today. So I like to have just a little bit of positivity with our mugs. So grab your tea and let's talk. Tonight's topic I'm very excited about because we're going to talk about overcoming fear. So my question to you, and you can type in the chat box if you'd like, we can continue this conversation. But have you ever held back because of fear? And if so, what was it the fear of? What sort of fear ever held you back? Okay, so those are things that I want you to think of. And there's so many different ideas that I know can come into your mind as you're thinking about fear. But I want to highlight just a few different things as we get into this. So in your mind, I want you to think, have I ever held back because of fear? And if so, fear of what? All right. I know for me, my personal story, I have lived when I was younger. I felt like I just lived very intense, very carefree, and I was about whatever my goals were, whatever my dreams were, determined to move forward. And it wasn't until I became older that I started receiving a little bit of pushback to my free nature and determined spirit. But as I got older, I became to be more real and more accepting of the fear that I have. Kind of crazy that we say that, but I definitely think that I embraced fear a lot more. And what the fear caused me to do was over time, slowly but surely, hold myself back and not move as fast as not even fast, but not move as fervently as I can, and not doing 100%, giving my all. And in the end, it resulted in just challenges. It resulted in teams not getting my best. It resulted in me getting frustrated. It resulted in me not being fully satisfied with where I was in life and where I wanted to be. So I want to go over with you, what are 4 fears that might be holding you back as you're moving forward? And I really wanted to get this topic today because each and every one of us, where you are, take an evaluation, take a self-evaluation. If you're where you want to be, great. But even if you are where you want to be, and even if you're not where you want to be, what are there pieces of fear that are keeping you from doing what you want to do? All right. So the first part of fear, the first of the 4 fears that are holding you back, faulty assumptions. For me, one of the things in my mind was always, well, what if this person is thinking this, or I believe they might be thinking this about me? And a lot of times I held myself back because of faulty assumptions of someone else that they thought about me, that they thought as far as me being able to progress. So what are things in you that you have faulty assumptions about? A lot of people, we put faulty assumptions on ourselves. And I find it very interesting because as we navigate through the world, even as we're younger and as we're older, when we place on other people our ideas and our reservations, it doesn't allow us or the people that we're interacting with to fully see and fully embrace what we are. So faulty assumptions. Now this one, the next one, I got very excited about because it's kind of funny, but it's a word we've been throwing around a lot: entanglements. One of the 4 fears that are holding us back are entanglements. And I say that, and we use this word now a little more because of how it came about. But if you truly think about the idea of what an entanglement is getting yourself caught up, and it's getting yourself caught up in different weeds, different conflicts and different struggles that just really hold you down when you get yourself entangled. And it can be as far as you're entangled in doing too much. you're entangled with helping other people out versus doing what needs to be done to progress yourself. You can be entangled in just the idea in your own mind of where you should be and where you're going. And it's a fear that we have, that we load ourselves with so many different things, or we hide and camouflage ourselves in so many different things in so many different areas because of the fear that holds us back from moving forward. So, faulty assumptions and entanglements. The next one, and I couldn't pick one A. So I said anxiety and avoidance. Anxiety is when our nerves are so high. It could be stress. It could just be so much. And they're typically things that we create within ourselves. I find it often funny because I have list for my list. And if I lose my list, then the world is falling apart. The world is falling apart. But that sort of anxiety that I'm putting on myself. And a lot of times the list that I have, and this is very important when it comes to being anxious. A lot of times the ideas and goals that we have for ourselves that we become so anxious about are so great and so overzealous that they're not even practical ideas of what we can accomplish throughout the day. So definitely that anxiety is holding us back. And then the second one, I had to do 2 A's because I feel like avoidance is also a big fear that holds us back. And it's avoidance of doing the task that needs to be done because we don't know what the outcome is going to be, because we're scared of other people's reactions. And so sometimes we just simply don't go and don't take that leap of faith and going that extra mile to get involved. And so we avoid it. We avoid opportunities. Avoiding opportunities is like not talking to that guy or girl that you're interested in because you have the fear that they may reject you. Avoidance is not applying to that job that you really thought you wanted to have because you know in your mind, another faulty assumption, that they won't hire you. Avoidance is staying away from things that you don't know the outcome of because you're scared of what will be the result. And then the last thing that I think of, the 4 things that are holding you back, are regret. And I try to live my life. The other day, my mom asked, do you regret anything? Is there anything that you would do over? And I feel like that is one of the biggest things that we put on ourselves of how could we change things that have already been done. When the truth is, instead of validating fear with regret and hiding the things that you know that you should be doing, or in regretting the things that you've already done, press forward. The things and the experiences in your life that you have had the opportunity to experience, they're the things that are going to push you forward. They're the things that are going to set you apart from anyone else. No one has lived your life. So whether it's working for someone else, whether it's working your own job, whether it's involvement in the church, a relationship with someone else, the fear of regret holding you back is something that is so important to move beyond, because it is something that is all in your mind that you can do. And if you look at these things, faulty assumptions, entanglements, anxiety and avoidance, and regrets, all of these things are things that are inside your own self. So when we look at fear, it is putting things on ourselves that restrict us from moving forward. So when we're looking at fear, what does fear do to you? It takes your power. What are you giving power in your life? In order to be the best of who you are and who you want to be, fear is one of those things that have to be minimalized. A friend of mine once quoted to me, "What are you giving the microphone in your life?" So as I kind of struggled with the idea of going back out and starting to speak again, I had a lot of fear in my own mind of, well, I don't know if I should get on. I don't know if I should talk. I don't know what I can say. And at the end of the day, what she said to me was, well, someone is going to have the microphone. Is your fear going to hold you back from saying the things that you know need to say, for bringing your perspective and bringing your experience so that someone else can learn from what you've done? Or is your fear going to amplify negative voices? Is your fear going to give somebody else the microphone to promote different values and different things, but still not the purpose that you have been called to? A quote that I often live by and I put in my mind over and over, and I have to continuously tell myself this. The quote is, "What you fear is what you engineer." And so when you focus, and that goes a lot with speaking life to things, when you focus on the negativity, when you focus on what you can't do, when you focus on these outlandish ideas and these hurdles and obstacles that you are making in your mind or that may just be a part of life, when you focus on those things, you push down your ability to do your absolute best. When you promote those negative thoughts and those negative things, you create it. You cause it to come to be in existence. What you fear is what you engineer. So if you fear that, oh no, I don't want my relationship to fail. I don't want my relationship to fail. You're putting it out there. Instead, change how you speak. I want my relationship to work out. Oh, I know I'm going to be successful. I don't want to, the difference between I don't want to lose my job, I don't want to lose my job, and changing that verbiage to I will be awesome, I will do this. It doesn't mean that negative things and experiences won't happen, but when you change your mindset, you handle it in a different way, so much more powerful than what you could if you are living within fear. And when you live within fear, you create those things. One of the things that we must remember is there is so much better on the other side of fear. There is another side of fear. And on the other side of fear, you no longer look at faulty assumptions. Instead, you look at faith. Whatever you believe in, you now have invested in that. So instead of the faulty assumptions and the things that are not real and the things that you put in your mind that may or may not be what other people are believing in you, you believe differently. You put faith and you promote faith over faulty assumptions. Instead of entanglements, constantly combining yourself, constantly getting woven in the wicked web, instead of getting so mixed up in entanglements, you put forth effort. You put forth effort to grow. You put forth effort to move beyond. You put forth an effort over entanglements. Instead of being anxious and instead of avoiding things that are going to happen, you take action. Taking action, being proactive, moving forward, making plans and moving forward on those plans. And nothing is wrong if you have to readjust. But when you avoid and when you let your anxiety rule your efforts, then the action is halted. So instead of that, do action. And instead of regretting, instead of looking back to all that negativity, instead of constantly saying, I would have done this, I could have done this, I should have done this, in order to overcome fear, make sure that you resist. Resist the negativity. Resist the idea of regretting and move forward. Take a risk and understand that every single one of those risks and that you can appreciate, because instead of regretting what has happened to you in the past, you can use it to become more powerful. You can use what has happened in the past to teach others so that they can grow and they can move forward. One of the greatest poems I really like is the poem, I'm going to actually read it to you. So I pulled it up that I can read it to you. And it's called Our Greatest Fear by Marianne Williamson. And I'm going to look over to the side. But I want you to listen to the words that she put in this poem because it is so phenomenal in hitting this point on moving beyond our fear. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us most. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. You were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. That poem is so powerful, and I'll sum it up in this. When we allow fear of the negativity, or even fear of the idea that we can be great and we can be awesome, when we allow that fear to hold us back from doing what we need to do, we don't do a service to the world, because someone is out there waiting for you, waiting for me to come and show that I am powerful beyond measure, that I am capable and I have something to add to the world. It's time to turn our greatest fear into our superpower. So if you're ready for me, and if you're ready to join me, let's go ahead and push that fear aside, and let's become superheroes of the world, putting forth our best effort, putting forth our greatest achievements, and even putting forth the times that we fail, the times that we aren't our greatest, so that we can spread to others how we've overcome, what lessons we've learned, and how to move forward greater and more powerful. Do you have fear? Has it reared its ugly head again and again, and does it continue to come? Well, let's continue this conversation. I'm Tonya Nicole. This is Talks and Tea. Like it, share it, join Tonya Nicole. But always remember, as we learn together, we continue this conversation, we grow stronger each and every day. This is Talks and Tea with Tonya Nicole. I hope you enjoyed your tea as I did mine. See you later. Peace.